Hello, folks, and welcome back to Gearbox Podcast, your weekly dose of podcast. I'm Nick,
I'm Moxi.
and today we are back with more F1 preview for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. But of course, let's go on round three of the FIA Formula One World Championship in Australia, and let's see what happened. Moxie, what can you tell us about it?
So many things to comment about this race and really unforgettable race. Maybe one of the most entertaining races of this season. We have so many races to come, but still, and to watch, but still, this one was pretty interesting. So let's start off with Leclerc's DNF in the first lap. He had a collision with Stroll, causing him to be beached, and he couldn't just keep up, and yeah, he just left. Nick, what do you have to tell us about that?
Yeah, I feel the pain that Charles Leclerc currently has at the moment. I really understand that it wasn't a problem that the team had, of course. He was at the wrong time, at the wrong place, and that caused him to DNF in the first lap, of course. I wouldn't say that Stroll was the man at fault there. I guess it was a racing incident and nobody deserved a penalty that moment. But I mean, yeah, it is what it is, and fortunate for Leclerc. But let's talk about Alex Albon with a great qualifying in Saturday's quali session. He had a good start as well, and of course, last year in Australia, he got his first points with Williams, and you know how hard that is with the Williams to get points, of course. So he managed to do a great quali, and unfortunately, in lap six, he lost control of the car in I don't remember which turn actually, but he lost control of the car and he caused a red flag. So, of course, you can understand that it's not ideal for Williams. They had a great qualifying session, but yeah, it is what it is. Moxie, what is your opinion on this?
Yeah, I mean, Albon was had a really great qualifying session, and yeah, him losing the car control and hitting the wall and spreading. Uh, it was, yeah, quite dangerous for the drivers as well when he had the collision. He DNF'd because of the severe collision with, and of course hitting the wall. Red flag, the first red flag of the race, and yeah, it's. Let me also comment, Nick. Russell's move of changing his tires from medium to hard, and just maybe the wrong choice. He made the wrong choice there, as the other drivers with a red flag had the possibility and the chance to change the tires as well. So yeah, pretty unlucky then. Pretty unlucky there Russell was, and yeah, I'm also quite. Um, it's, yeah, it's kind of frustrating to know that Albon had a great session, and yeah, he could easily bring some points to the Williams team. Back to you, Nick.
Yeah, of course, as well with Carlos Sainz, he decided to do the same as George Russell, and we know that didn't end up being a good choice for the man in red. But of course, let's also talk about the main topic of the Australian Grand Prix, which is the last lap incident between the Alpine drivers, the collision between Carlos Sainz and Fernando Alonso. And let's also talk our opinions on the 5 second time penalty that the Spaniard in red took, of course. And yeah, generally, let's talk about what really happened on that last lap. Moxie, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, let's just mention, of course, how this restart of the race came. It was actually Magnussen's collision. He DNF'd and he lost his car control, hitting the wall in the lap 53, causing a red flag, second red flag of the race. And of course, then we saw the restart of the race with Gasly first of all locking up, causing chaos in the circuit in the lap 57, which is the it was there were 58 laps in the Grand Prix, and this happened in lap 57. We also saw a collision between De Vries and Sargeant. They both DNF'd in lap 57 in the restart. We saw Alonso and we saw Sainz hitting Alonso in his and it was just Sainz, of course. Sainz spinned Alonso around and causing him to have a 5 second time penalty. We'll talk about that in a minute. And of course, Stroll as well locking up, going out of the ground. And of course, the two Alpines hitting the wall. They both DNF'd in the lap 57. So let's talk about the Sainz and Alonso collision. I think that Sainz deserved this grid penalty, this of course this 5 second time penalty, because he had some space and he could he could just do something and not kill Alonso. He was really frustrated, of course, in the end of the race, but the FIA stewards were willing to reconsider and reinvestigate this penalty, but the action was already taken, so Alonso and Sainz was out of the points because of this. The two Alpines, of course, I think that Gasly was the one who was guilty for this incident because he didn't see Ocon in his right. So they both had a severe collision, causing them to be both DNF'd. What is your opinion on this?
Well, let me just start about the penalty that Carlos Sainz took. Of course, I will have to say that, okay, a 5 second time penalty sounds right to me. But of course, when the race finishes under a safety car and there is 5 seconds penalty for the driver, of course, he wasn't leading the Grand Prix, but he was in a position where I believe under safety car, it means that you're going to lose a lot of positions. And in my opinion, okay, it's an okay, I guess, choice by the FIA, but in this scenario, under safety car, it's not right for me. He lost. He did a great comeback after that safety car to red flag pit stop, just like George Russell did, and he was really close on actually getting a podium as well. But I think that 5 seconds under that scenario, of course, it was just too severe. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Of course, the collision between the Alpines, I would have to say, yeah, it was Gasly's fault, but with everything that was happening in that lap, you can pretty much understand that we can't really blame anybody. It was pure chaos, of course, and you can't really say anything about it. And it's of course really sad for the Alpine drivers because they gave back the positions that were starting in lap 57. So you can pretty much understand that if Gasly and Ocon just kept the race going, they could have gone with the great points, and now they are back with 0 points coming from down under, and it has really costed the team. They were really close on getting good points, and that, of course, has caused to a really bad result. And I think now it's time to move on the Baku City circuit, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Moxi, talk us about it.
So the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in 2023 is going to be held in Baku, the capital city of Azerbaijan. The number of laps are going to be 51. The circuit length is 6 kilometers, and the first Grand Prix was taken place in 2016. The race distance is 306 kilometers, and the lap record is held by Charles Leclerc in 2019 with 1.43.009. So this weekend, we're going to see the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. 28th of April is going to be the qualifying session, and we're going to have a sprint weekend as well in 29th of April. we're going to see a sprint race for the first time in 2023. And of course, the race is going to be held on Sunday, 30 April. So, Nick, I think it is time to move to our predictions, but let's start off with you first.
Well, yeah, of course. Since we have a sprint weekend, I think we should say first the man who should probably take pole, and the top three in the sprint and the top five in the race. So, in my opinion, I will. I have to say that the man who's going to take pole position is going to be Max Verstappen. Nothing too crazy about it. We've seen Max doing some great qualifying sessions, some great races, and I think it's quite obvious. And of course, in the sprint weekend, since we have it, I'm gonna say in the sprint on Saturday, we're going to see P1 Max Verstappen, P2 Sergio Perez in a track that he has a really good record, as he has gotten his first ever win with Red Bull in this circuit, and he has a really good history in the Baku City circuit. And in P3, I will have to put George Russell. And on the race, although, I'll have to say that Max Verstappen is going to have a bad luck and he's going to get a mechanical failure, which is going to cause Sergio Perez to get his second race win in the 2023 F1 season, followed by George Russell, Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, and of course Carlos Sainz. So this is my opinion on the results that we might see in the Baku City circuit. Moxie, what do you think?
So quite interesting predictions, Nick. But I think the pole position for the first time in 2023 is going to be taken by Charles Leclerc. I think that he is really good at this circuit, and he might do uh, the the unexpected pole position. And of course, P2 is going to be Max Verstappen, and P3 Fernando Alonso. Of course, I'm talking about the qualifying session. In the sprint, I think the Red Bull is going to be faster than Ferrari, so Max Verstappen is going to take the first position. Then I think that Fernando Alonso is going to take the second position and Charles Leclerc down in P3. And of course, about the race, I think that Max Verstappen is going to take the win, and followed by Fernando Alonso, the first time or for the Spanish second-time world champion, that he takes the second position, and Charles Leclerc in P3, P4 Sainz, and P5 George Russell. Back to you, Nick.
Right, so yeah, to be honest with you, I really like your predictions. They have some sense of quite, let's say, I kind of get why you've chosen Charles Leclerc for um, pole position, of course, and also I really don't have a good luck for Aston Martin, but we'll have to wait and see, of course. And yeah, that's about it. Moxie, do you have anything else to add?
Nothing at all, Nick.
Great. So it's been Nick,
It's been Moxi.
and we'll see you guys for the next one. See ya.
See you guys.